Afternoon greetings to everyone out there. This is the power of healing with Utabi. It's been a long 4 days, ne? Without uploading anything. So yeah, things happen. However, we continue, ne? So today, I'm just going to talk about how do I conduct mentorship, or how do we conduct mentorship to a self-initiate of a water spirit or a wind spirit, or how do we mentorship to someone who's been self-initiating by the spirit or self-initiated by the spirit. So how do we conduct that mentorship, or how do we mentor that person? But before I get into that, guys, so I think with so far, okay, let's say, I think so far we all understand what a self-initiate is. A self-initiate is somebody who's initiating themselves through the guidance of the spirit that they are carrying, or the ancestors or spirit guides that they are working with, or they are carrying, right? I'm doing this video particularly to kind of explain the difference between mentorship and Ukovela, guys, ne? So with me, with my space, because I mentor people who are self-initiating, but also guide people who've been initiated and are lost or confused. So I mentor the people who are self-initiating, but also guide or coach the people that were initiated but are still finding difficulty, or are still confused or lost within the process after that initiation. So basically everything starts with the consultation, guys, because I don't do anything without understanding you and who you're working with and who you're going with and who are your spirit guides. So I need to connect with them and as a medium, and then also connect with them as a shaman. So I need to understand your space, your spiritual space, so that things become easy. However, now, the one question that I want to respond to or answer is that who authorizes sorry about that, who authorizes the mentoring, ne? I don't want us to be confused. I basically mentor you from after consultation on what you need to do, or coach you on what you need to do, and your steps going forward. Do you understand? Or your progress going forward. But who authorizes this? First of all, when we do consultation, the people who are going to authorize it are your ancestors, your spirit guides, my spirit guides, my ancestors. Because we combine all of these people, or we bring all of these people together, so they work together. Gungabi na certain conflict in terms of spirits, or our spiritual beings. So I also have to get authority, or I also have to get a confirmation, from them. So they authorize that should I work with this person or not. Now the funny thing is that I've discovered over the past few weeks is that a lot of people think that they are well off their initiation or self-initiation. So I think there is some sort of confusion when it comes to what is the state, or which is the state of self-initiation. Where do you say I'm now self-initiating? Where does it start? So self-initiating, guys, it's when you initiate yourself, or you learn you are prepared, or you do the learning and training by yourself. You train yourself through the guidance, of course, of the spirits or of the spirit guides. You learn, you discover yourself, you learn about yourself, you train yourself. Basically, you have to gather information and put together information that will make sense. Where are you in that space? So basically, guys, self-initiation is about finding your being spiritually inclined. So when does it start? I think that's the most important part. Self-initiation, I made a video and I said there is self-training where you go through all the life things and life challenges, or you go through life and you meet challenges and this and that. Sometimes it's summer, sometimes it's winter, so you get the hot and the cold, you get the happy and the sad, the pain, the sorrow and everything else. But that is just self-training. You are being trained or being shaped into this being that is going to go through a spiritual inclination, and who is going to discover or awaken their spiritual higher being, right? That's self-training. The life drama and things, that's self-training. Now, self-initiation is when now things start happening. And I'll talk about me now and what happened to me, but I won't share too much, guys. When I started with the journey, I spoke about I made a video about the diet changes. You get turned off or switched off from the world. Basically, your phone just becomes like it's either you are always offline, or you get into that stage where I'm not going to be reachable. So they isolate you from the world. You spiritually inclined means that you eat, you drink, you sleep spirituality, meaning that it's an everyday thing. You think about it every day. Things happen around you, or the things that happen around you, they are more explained spiritually than physically. Okay, so that's when you eat, you drink spirituality all the time, whatever you see on TV. So everything just basically goes into this, forms this space of spirituality. Everything, you get a spiritual explanation for it instead of the physical, like the physical explanation of it. And then you go through a lot of changes in terms of attitude, in terms of emotions. You go through a lot of emotional roller coaster. Now, it's not all about dreams. Self-initiation is not all about dreams where, like, I dream, I think I'm done because I've been dreaming this, I've dreamt of Amabai and Namabit. That's just introduction, guys. That's just 20% of it. It's not the work. Because a lot of people think that after dreaming so much and buying all those things, you're done. Not a chance. Not a chance. There's going to be like emotions. There's going to be like things that are opening in front of your eyes. You're going to see things differently. You're going to isolate yourself even more. It's basically learning throughout. Now, we are not the same, and as much as we are not the same, it is the spirits that are guiding you do it differently with everybody, with each and every one of us. But also but within that difference that they do it, there's certain pillars that are more or less similar. So within building you into that self-initiate or graduating to being a healer, if you're supposed to be a healer, there's certain pillars that are more or less similar to all of us. So yeah, as I've said, a lot of things changes within self-initiation. It's not about the dreams that I'm getting. The dreams, you get the dreams, you see the visions, you get revelations, you get messages, you get, like, within a day, you get a whole lot of things. Hence I say it's all about spiritual inclination. You are fed spiritually. Each hour of the day, you are being fed something spiritually. Now, when it comes to dreams, there's certain things there's certain patterns that happen in your dreams. So I hear a lot of people, but I mean, I think it's because and then when you now say to this person, because as a mentor, there's observations that I do with somebody who says, I'm a self-initiate. We observe certain things, we listen to what you're saying. So you get that a person would say, there's things that they do, and you like, this person is nowhere near self-initiation yet, the self-initiation stage. You look at these things and you like, 1, no 2, no 3, asihlangani. Okay, but you don't want to discourage, because for some reason people, I always say this, people believe in experience and hearsay so much that they don't want to discover what they have themselves. They are so dependent on being told. It's not about being told by another person where you should be, and once you've got that 1, 2, 3, you are almost done. There is no done here. Utabi as being a mentor herself is also being mentored into some of the things. Hence I say, and when I say how we mentor, it's not me who's mentoring, but me, now my spirit guides and my ancestors, or the people that I'm connected to or I work with. Labantu abangikhulisile to be who I am. That's the we I'm talking about. So now you get that somebody, when you observe, because we do a lot of observation, I do a lot of observation, or we do a lot of observation, and you like, something ayihambi kahle la, lo muntu lona akakazazi ukuthi ukuphi. That's mentoring, ne? So when you consult, I know the space, I can hear from you, and I can assess your spiritual space and get to know that asikafiki lapho ekufanele ngabe sesikhona. Because as much as you can have 1,000 dreams, but there are times when awukafiki lapho ekufanele kube khona, and this is made only by you being ignorant to some of the things, or picking and choosing what you need, what you want to do instead of what needs to be done. And I think I did speak about this when I spoke about the learning stage, or the learning phase, where somebody becomes naive into thinking they can pick and choose whatever they want to accept and what they don't want to accept. I doubt that it's done that way. So that's why I call it the learning stage of being naive. So it's not about the picking and the choosing. So when somebody said I'm a self-initiate, I listen to certain things that you ask me or you say to me that would make me say, this one is done with the self-initiation stage. So, that's why I say, same as with the dreams. If you tell me your dreams, I'll tell you the spirit that you have, or the water spirit or the wind spirit that you have. It's the same thing. So now, how do we then conduct mentorship? This is what happens, and I did, as I speak about this now, that An initiate is someone that is being initiated by Ukovela. Now, with the initiate, things are done differently. When you also initiate to Ubungoma, or when you are going to be initiated to Ubu Prophet, things are done differently. With Ubungoma, there's Intwaso, there's all of that. With Ubu Prophet, there's certain stages, but it's done differently, right? To mentoring. As a self-initiate, I'm not actually initiating you. I'm not initiating you. The spirit that you're carrying, or the spirit that governs you or guides you, is initiating you. Okay? Mina, I'm just doing little bits and pieces of that. Please excuse me for a moment. Oh, so sorry about that. So yeah, interruptions. So yeah, I don't, as a self-initiate, I'm not initiating you, but you are basically being guided by the spirit. I'm just mentoring you or guiding you with small things, trying to what phrase should I use? Or maybe try to unpack small things that needs to be done here and there. So it's not about me basically initiating you. I'm just guiding you, or I'm just coaching you of what you need. So when this happens, what you need to do. When this happens, what do you need to do? But the spirit initially should have told you already. Now, a lot of people get to the confusion that as a mentor, I'm supposed to tell you about you. I'm supposed to translate your dreams. When you self-initiation stage, you already understand your dreams. You already know what your dreams are translated into, or you can translate your own dreams. That's self-initiation. You understand your space. You understand where your dreams are coming from, or where they derive from. You are as a self-initiate. If you say to me you are a self-initiate, already finding up amaphupha akaqonda ukuthini, or ayaphi, or lizama ukuthini, limbula ini. What is the dream uncovering? So you cannot say to me, I've done the self-initiation stage, and you cannot translate your own dreams. It does not. For me, now you are still on the learning stages. And you cannot say to me, I think I'm done with my self-initiation because angisaphuphi kakhulu and I've bought this and that. No. Akusebenzi kanjalo. I doubt that ukusebenza kanjalo. So dreams are just a start, because dreaming happens to everyone. So you cannot tell me through dreams that you've self-initiated. And also, guys, you need to understand, Gucci, there are people who are not supposed to work as healers after self-initiation. Some people are just self-initiating or initiated by someone just to ugcina izinto zabantu abadala. So basically ugcina imithetho. You are not going to work kuleyo nto leyo, or awuzukusebenza ngaleyo nto leyo. You can still continue with your businesses, you can still continue with your school, you can still continue, but you are just bogcina umthetho, acknowledging them and acknowledging the spiritual gift. And that is why we speak about a spiritual calling and a spiritual gift in a different land or level. So omunye umuntu is only just supposed to observe certain things within the spiritual space, observe certain things by this, observe certain prayers, and that's it. Omunye is actually meant to work with people and heal and through this calling that they have. That is why it will identify the calling you have. Not everybody has a calling, but a lot of people have a spiritual gift. So it will identify, when you are a self-initiate, already so good space where it has already identified the gift that you have, but doesn't, do you understand? Once it's identified the gift that you have, that means you have a calling, and when it identifies the gift, usually within the self-initiating stage, already so uyabasebenza abantu without you even formally understanding. But you, as I did speak about the 200 hours of social services within the space of spirituality, the free service that you give to people who come to you, because if you have identified your gift, or they will now bring people to validate that you have a gift, or to confirm to you that you actually have that calling. Sorry, not the gift, but you have that calling of being a prophet, of being a medium, of being a sangoma, already within the self-initiation stage. So it's not about actually dreaming. Gune service that you actually have to render so that it identifies the gift. But the gift will be identified usa self-training. Usaphila nje empilweni, you can see ukuthi I have a gift of this, I have a gift of that. Now when you are in self-initiation stage, you already know and understand the ancestors and the spirit guides that you are working with. You are familiar with them. You know who it is. You know the spirit that you are working. This is for people who are saying, saying Kalile, or have done with the self-initiation. You already know, or I have identified the person okwembethe, the person okphethe, the spirit ekwembethe, the spirit esikphethe. So your ancestral spirit, your chief spirit, your spirit guides, already you can identify them according to the categories in which they fall. And then now, so uyazi ukuthi mina am who, and mina amutabi, who is a medium and a shaman. I work with ngembethe ikhehla, ngiphethwe isalukazi, ngihamba nezalukazi namakhehla, ngihamba namakhosi namabutho, ngifola. You understand already. You can write some sort of a biography, a small paragraph nyana of who you are. That's self-initiative, because already so good as state, you know yourself. You know how to control certain emotions when it comes to the spiritual calling itself. And then also, so this is what we identify. I said this is why this is what mostly I observe. Not, it is not limited only to what I'm going to mention. There's a lot, but I just had to mention a few so you understand what mentoring is all about. Now, then there comes there's this critical part, or this crucial part that people don't know. When you have gone through a self-initiation, or you think you have advanced into a certain level of self-initiation or initiation, we observe how you speak when you pray, or uphahla, how you go about doing things. So uphahla, no prayer, how do you go about observing that? How do you observe a prayer? The way in which candles, amakhandlela akho wabeka ngakhona, because we are given a sort of like a way, all of us different ways, but ufane kubeke ngakhona, and there's an explanation ukuthi umsamo wakho fane kuhlale kanjani, or iladi lakho fane lihlale kanjani. There's an explanation for that. And then the tone and the confidence, I want to make an example about me. I think it took me a long time for me now. I think this is one. So when I was growing up, like when I realized that that's me, I'm not really good or good in expressing myself, I ended up making a decision that I'm going to only pray our Father, right? But then as now I started self-initiation and I was being self-initiated, I learned how to pray. I really don't know how I got to that. I would be lying if I want to explain it to my, or to reduce it to my own understanding. I would be lying. I don't know. But that's what I'm trying to say, that it prepares you emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, subconsciously, or do you understand? It prepares you. So you cannot say, all right? So the tone in which you speak when you pray, and you observe all of that to get to understand lo muntu kuyiphi level of self-initiation. The offerings, when you do offerings, or when you do blessings, or when you do certain prayer rituals, that in itself tells ukuthi umuntu kuyiphi level. How far have you gone? Are you actually listening to the voices or the revelations? Are you listening to what the spirit guides are showing you or telling you? And that is why we get to a space where we say to a person, because you are confused, and then confusing them because you are bringing other things that are not really shown, or you are bringing things from outside that has nothing to do with you. You are bringing things that you hear from outside and thinking, I should be doing this, but they are not for you. Because umuntu nomuntu nendlela yakhe. So you are bringing other people's ways. That is why I say to people, when you bring a makbai, I just observe a makbai, and I'm like, this person is not following the right process in which, or the right steps as begene naye, or as begene ne gift yake. Somewhere, somehow, this person is lost. Okay? Because, as I say, we do the ugogo would say, yabona logu na logu na logu klangani, but we don't discourage. And also, I never say your spirit guides are wrong. However, let's start and see guthi mina ngikubeka kuphi, because you have to understand that you can now start being a prophet, but later on, your gift or your calling manifests into something else. So it grows. As you grow spiritually, it grows now, and becomes something else. Okay? So how you conduct all of that observation tells ukuthi lo muntu uyayazi into ayenzayo. When you are able to control your surrounding and your emotions, also tells the level of self-initiating you are at. When you are able to control the physical emotions, the physical feelings, the temptations, the physical realm, and the surroundings. So the things that happen on your physical aspect of things, are you able to control them? And this is why what we call now alignment. Are you able to align your spiritual with your physical so it works together? Because once you've aligned it properly, isebenzisana, you have gone through a certain level of self-initiation. Because as much as when you start this thing, even the way you conduct yourself is in itself in self-initiation stage. I said I'm not going to share much. Are you able to assess and evaluate environmental vibrations? Are you able to evaluate and assess the vibrations you get from nature, the vibrations you get from the outside surrounding as well as the inside surrounding? Are you able to assess, should you go in a different space, like should you go uyopahla entabeni, should you go uyopahla emanzini? Are you able to assess and evaluate that environment to identify what spirits are present and the type and the type of spirits that are present, whether good or bad, and their intention in being present with you at that moment. Are you able to analyze them? Are you able to tell? So it's basically assessing and analyzing your environment, as well as analyzing the spirits, being able to evaluate and understand the spirits that are surrounding you. Are you able to do that? Because within the space of spirituality and within the space of the spiritual gift, there's certain challenges that you should be able to overcome or understand, whether are they coming with bad or good intentions. Is this harmful? Is this going to lead? Because there are times where you go to a place and you instantly get told, leave. So are you able to analyze that, or assess that, and assess the situation and analyze that situation, and also evaluate the tone that brings that that information of you leaving that space. So there's a lot of things, guys, with self-initiation. That's why we're saying it's basically not as easy as we think. It's actually the most difficult one. Also then, are you able to separate your being within a split of a second? So within a second, are you able to separate your being from being physical to spiritual? Because there are times where you're sitting with people and now you have to separate between physical and spiritual. You need to separate that space, or you need to separate yourself. In that space, you would say, am I now being physical, or am I now being spiritual? Am I combining the two? And also, are you able to control yourself, not to impose certain things to other people? That's why we say you need to be in control of your emotions, because you shouldn't impose your things on other people. And that comes also from wisdom and maturity, that you see, I'm in this space and this person is in this space, so I need to give them that certain space. Or I'm in this level, this person is in this level, so I need to give them this certain space, which is benefit of a doubt that they actually understand me and where I'm coming from. And also not being too confident with yourself, because then it will lead to you being an egomaniac, and it will lead you to the self-pride now, self-made pride, and you go into this power trip. So you need to understand and be able to control certain emotions within your spiritual space. So that is how I mentor people, basically, or how we mentor people. So that's what I look for. And now what's going to happen is that Ugogo has actually asked me to develop an observation form for someone who's saying I'm a self-initiate, so they can see the different categories of self-initiation, or they can measure themselves within the different categories of self-initiation. So that is coming within the next week or so, that I'm going to do with Ugogo. I just have to work on the structure in which Ugogo wants me to do. But that observation would actually tell you where do you lack in that self-initiation space. And I hope that it does help a lot of people. But that's basically how we conduct mentorship to somebody who's being self-initiating, or who's been initiated by the spirit, the water spirit and the wind spirit, basically. So when you say I'm a self-initiate, Do you understand what self-initiation is and how far you have gone with your self-initiation? There are certain things that I shouldn't or you shouldn't expect me to tell you if you've already began the self-initiation space. And if I have to tell you or mentor you into doing them, that means you are still in the learning phase. You haven't gone through the self-initiation. And remember, I said, kunabantu ekufane ukuthi they just observe that they have a spiritual gift and acknowledge it and bagcine nje imithetho or whatever that is expected of them to do, but it does not mean necessarily that they're going to have to be in the healing space or the calling space. So if you struggling to understand what your calling is, give yourself time to learn more, and give your ancestors or your spirit guides time to show you. Don't rush into things and buying this and buying that and buying this, because at the end of the day you would get that you have actually wasted so much and you haven't even begun your training or your self-initiation. You haven't even begun, but you've wasted so much already, because these things do not align or are not based like for you. Thank you so much, guys, and I hope you enjoy this video and you do subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications button. Please remember, guys, my 0618907383 number is just for WhatsApp to for request about consultations only. Okay, that is what I do. WhatsApp for consultation only, request only. Whatever that you want to ask me, you can ask me on YouTube. But also, I will not attend to some of these questions because people tend to try and get a consultation through a question. So not happening, guys. Thank you so much. Love you.